So, Kay, just first wanted to say thank you for being a judge with the Franchise Development Website Award Series and for taking the time to do this interview today.
Well, thank you. I found looking at all those websites quite interesting.
Absolutely. And as you were going through the sites that were nominated and submitted for this, was there anything that stood out as an overall trend or something that you were seeing a lot of, or really just kind of your overall thoughts as to how the sites were looking?
I think one of the things that really stood out to me are the number of companies that are now using the live chats
Hmm.
and the chat now buttons so that you bring that immediacy to the franchise prospect and they have an opportunity to ask questions while they're interested in your concept.
Absolutely. And especially with, things like texting and sales teams are starting to, take more of this digital approach. I think that that's definitely something that we're going to see continue to evolve as these features because now, especially with today's consumers and today's franchise candidates, if it isn't, instant and easy, I think that people are going to start dropping off for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And was there anything that as you were going through the websites, what was it that really separated, the good or maybe the not so good from the really great ones?
I think a couple of things. I think the really great ones do have the ability for that instant contact.
Hmm.
I also think that they are well organized and provide short explanations of the kind of support they provide, the steps that it takes to become a franchisee, qualifications that they're looking for in prospects, but all in a very organized flow so that the consumer or the potential franchisee has the ability to go through and pick out what's relevant for them. I also think one of the key points is putting that call to action and that ability to ask for additional information on
Hmm.
every one of those pages.
Absolutely. And another thing that I think is starting to happen too is with those forms and having the ability to ask for more information. I think there's going to start being a little bit of a division because some people, as they're doing their due diligence, they might be ready to fully inquire and learn more about the brand and receive a call from a salesperson. And I think that there's some other people who really just want that PDF download and don't want to be harassed. So I think that as this technology continues to get integrated into the sites, it's possible that people will be able to follow their own path for, as you were saying, to get the information that they need specifically, as opposed to just a blanketed approach.
Yeah, I think you're right there because if I am at the very early stages of looking for a franchise opportunity, I don't need all that information. And I do just want to get an overview of the concept. And I think being able to download the brochure gives me that option. But if I'm a little further along, then I want to be able to get my specific questions answered.
Absolutely. And as you were going through the sites and, taking a look at what brands were putting out there, was there anything in your opinion that stood out as maybe being a trend that should, people move on from that, or if it was a little bit outdated? Is there something that you think where the industry is kind of shifting away from when it comes to what's on their FD sites?
Hmm. Nothing that stands out in my mind.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's really more of an evolution, I guess. It's not like things get taken away with technology; things just end up kind of being built upon. So,
and updated. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And what do you think might be one of the most overlooked things, or what would be your top thing that you would say that brands shouldn't ignore as they're building out or updating their FD sites?
Well, I think one of the things, and this goes back to looking at your franchise offer itself, today we're targeting different types of franchisees, different profiles from the single unit to the multi unit to the strategic investor or the PE firm investor, and therefore, or the international franchisee for that matter.
Yeah,
Um, and I think the successful companies in the future will have more information targeted to a specific profile of
hmm,
franchising candidate.
absolutely. And those candidates more and more are looking as they're doing their due diligence and checking things out online. They want to be able to see themselves in the shoes of a franchisee. So if there's an example of a franchisee that was in a career similar to what they're currently in or was able to make it work, people are going to be searching for those stories so that they can have a clear vision of, okay, if I take my life savings and invest it in this, it can work. It's people need to be able to see themselves in their footsteps.
Absolutely. And then at the same time, if I'm an international investor and I'm looking for a much larger opportunity,
Hmm.
I want to see how the support provided to me is going to be different than what you provide to a single unit
Absolutely.
franchisee. Or if I'm a large domestic multi-unit franchisee, I want to see if there are any incentives built into the franchisor's franchise program that would benefit me. So
Yeah,
franchisors sometimes build competitive advantages into their franchise offer and then forget to put them on their website.
absolutely. And as people continue to update their sites and take a look at their opportunities and how best they can display that throughout their digital footprint, what do you think is going to be the next iteration or the next trend that's going to come through, and how do you anticipate franchise development websites continuing to evolve over the next couple of years?
Well, as we just discussed, I think they're going to be more targeted. The
Hmm.
information provided will be more specific to the different franchisee profiles. I think as more and more companies go international, you're going to see more international franchising segregated on the website to attract an international audience. And I do think that the live chat or the um, talk to me right now feature is going to become more prevalent.
Yep, absolutely agreed. Well, it'll be interesting to see how these awards play out over the course of the month on 1851, and as we keep doing this, year over year, we'll be able to track kind of what the new latest and greatest is. So, Kay, again, I thank you so much for taking the time to judge the websites and for giving us this feedback. Looking forward to seeing it on 1851.
All right, me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.